Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
Good to see you. How was your pigeon?
It was delicious.
Yes?
Thank you.
It was a wood pigeon, yeah?
Yes,
Not a pigeon from
yes,
Trafalgar Square.
Yeah. And so you must care about meat. I mean, where your meat comes from.
I've always cared, sort of, not just for my own personal benefit, but obviously for the customer benefit, the fact that we give them that level of security to make sure that transparency is there for them to understand.
Yeah.
So you've been looking into supermarket meats for us?
I have. I've been looking at sausages. I've been trying to look beyond the packaging to see what actually goes into the sausage.
In the UK, we spend over £500 million on sausages every year. But do you really know how much meat goes into your average economy banger? And do you know what else goes in there besides?
Does it taste meaty?
It does taste meaty.
Does it?
Yeah, it looks a bit bendy.
I'd say it's about
70%.
70% meat. That is actually an economy sausage from a supermarket, and it contains 32% meat.
I'm appalled that a sausage can have as little as 32% meat. The rest of it is mainly water and breadcrumbs, by the way. But more shocking still is what that 32% can be made up of.
When it says meat on a label for a product such as a sausage, it doesn't actually just mean lean meat. It means other things like fat, connective tissue. And connective tissue is things like skin, rind, gristle, tendon, sinew.
So over half the so-called meat content can be gristle and fat, and it's still allowed to be called meat on the label. It is safe and it is legal, but if I'm going to eat gristle and sinew, I want to know about it. And I think the current labelling system is misleading. Earlier this year, Gordon and his team of food technologists investigated the contents of economy sausages from the big 4 supermarkets to see how much so-called connective tissue they contained in total. The results are enlightening, if not surprising.
Our research showed that the connective tissue levels varied amongst the supermarkets. Morrison's had 7.5%, Asda 10%, Sainsbury's 22%, and Tesco 24% connective tissue.
So, according to tests carried out by Gordon earlier this year, the economy sausage being sold by Britain's biggest supermarket contains the most connective tissue. That's skin, rind, gristle, tendon and sinew to you and me. So how can you spot better quality sausages in the supermarket? Well, there's one very simple trick to remember when buying. If a packet of sausages is labelled simply sausages like these, the legal requirement is that they contain just 32% meat. If, on the other hand, the label says pork sausages, like these, the legal requirement is that they contain 42% meat. To demonstrate what all this means in practical terms, I went to visit top butchers Moan & Sons, winner of 12 awards at this year's National Sausage Competition. Show me what you put in one of your sausages.
Okay, this is the meat here. This is for an 80% meat content sausage.
And how many sausages would you be able to make out of that meat?
Approximately 120.
So, Richard, you're going to help me make a sausage that's just on the limit of the regulations. Now, I'm going to make 120 sausages. This is the meat of my sausages, but it doesn't look like meat at all. How much is that? What percentage?
This is a 32% meat content sausage.
It looks disgusting, though. What's all this stuff?
Well, this is connective tissue. You're allowed a quarter in your recipe.
Right.
And this is pork fat, and you're allowed 30%.
We've also got this. Is that going in the sausage too?
Yeah, that's the extra bits. You know, so long as you declare it on your label, then that's fine.
So, going into the barely legal banger is 32% meat, which includes fat and gristle. Then extra fat and gristle, 3 kilos of rusk and some colouring and herbs. So here it is, the barely legal banger. Technically, it's a sausage. And under current labelling guidelines, it can be sold as a sausage.
I think the law should be looked into just to clarify what is actually called meat. In my mind, meat is really lean meat and fat. I wouldn't really call gristles and skin or connective tissues meat.
So how did our testers react when they found out exactly what we put in our barely legal banger?
It's repulsive. I mean, you can basically just get away with anything by putting meat down.
You would assume that if it says meat, you would hope it's the finest cuts of the best raised beef or pork.
Now I think I will go vegetarian.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's drastic. So when you're shopping for meat, always read the label, check the water content, check the percentage of meat included. But remember that with sausages, 55% of the meat can be made up of fat and gristle, and that's in addition to the fat and gristle that you'll find on the label. Secondly, if you're buying sausages, always look out for the ones that are labelled pork sausages rather than the ones that are just vaguely labelled sausages. They're more likely to have more meat in them.
So if you're not keen on connective tissue, you might want to think about which supermarket you buy your sausages from.
That looked extremely grim.
Yeah, quite grim.
What are your sort of main conclusions then after that?
I think there are two things. First thing is that the label may not tell you all there is to know, so read it carefully. And if you want less connective tissue in your economy sausage, then, well, I wouldn't go to Tesco or Sainsbury's.
Now we'll put a little bit of salsify on top of these last ones, yes? So lift up the brill, drain it. No, nice and gently. Lift it up, okay? And the curvy side sits up, okay? So it doesn't look upside down.
Right, yeah.
That's it, good. Lift it up, drain off the red wine and sauce. Generous on the sauce, okay? Because all the sauce is the cooking liquor from the brill. Okay? So that's why. Okay, table mark, please. Good, very nice. Table 8. Gently, excuse me. Go, table 8. Good.
The main course was lovely. I really liked all the different flavours that were going on.
Well, I actually thought the fish was really succulent, and the sauce, it really complemented it well. It was quite spicy and quite tangy. It was really good. Not so sure what was underneath it. It was fine. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I think it really all went together quite well.
Okay, how was that?
It was fantastic. I love it. It's all kind of dark purple, then you cut in and it's white.
Bright, brilliant white.
And you have that smell of red wine and onion, so you think you're eating steak, and then it tastes like fish, and it reminds you how meaty the brill is. And it's slimming, yeah.
Now, for some bizarre reason, last week we actually started talking about your sperm count and my sperm count.
It's amazing. We must have run out of other things to talk about. It was because I discovered that sperm counts had dropped off over the last 50 years, you know, among males all over the world, and partly because of diet. And I thought I might find out what my sperm count was and see if I could do anything to improve it with what I eat.
I found out 8 years ago that I have a low sperm count, and last week Giles went to have his checked out too.
Well, I don't really know what I was worrying about there. It's the old magic is still there.
His count was fine, but the sperm was slightly misshapen.
Yours is 14, which is borderline.
In the last 50 years, toxins in the food chain have helped cause the average man's sperm count to plummet more than 50%. Misshapen or immobile sperm is increasingly common. Diet can play a major part in increasing men's fertility, and top sperm foods include nuts, red peppers, cabbage, fish and dairy.
Zita,
yeah.
Is there a crisis with men's sperm?
There is. Male fertility is definitely on the decline, and I think that men are really neglected in this whole area.
And do you really believe that a diet can actually help increase the sort of the sperm, development, production?
Yeah, absolutely.
What kind of things should they eat?
Well, the food we've got here, nuts and seeds are very, very important. Rich in selenium, rich in zinc. Oily fish, very important. Rich in omega-3, DHA, very important for the head and the tails of the sperm. And then fruit and vegetables, rich in antioxidants, vitamin C, vitamin E, to protect the sperm against damage from free radicals.
Is there something I can specifically eat to improve the shape of my sperm?
Yeah, I think that the food here would be very, very good, alongside drinking plenty of water and lifestyle factors, and in your case, Giles, a lot of alcohol.
If I haven't drunk lots of alcohol, how am I going to end up in a position to meet people and then possibly...
You're clearly not listening to what Zita said. Stop drinking. Gordon. First of all, can I just say, I'm really pleased you're here. What exactly is the problem?
Yeah, well, I was told just coming up for 2 years ago that I had poor sperm motility. I produce sperm, but they don't go anywhere. And in that situation, there'd be no chance of just having a baby naturally.
But is there any form of diet, Zita, that can actually turn Gordon's problem around and get them moving and working?
Well, I was talking to Gordon over dinner about his diet, and we've discovered that he wasn't eating breakfast, but also drinking a lot of fizzy drinks, which contain lots of preservatives and chemicals which aren't good. Eating loads of crisps, and drinking plenty of water. I mean, a lot of men don't drink enough water, and sperm need to swim at the end of the day. If you're not drinking the water, you're going to get dehydrated. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Cheryl, I've got a theory about this particular sort of low sperm count, because I actually believe, especially in the chef world, a lot has to do with the heat and being enclosed in those confined conditions under that amount of pressure. And when you look at the position of a stove in a kitchen, it really is on line with your scrotum. I got my chefs to go and do a test, and the sort of results have been quite fascinating. Sarge, 2 seconds. So the sperm count, how were they?
Good sperm count, but just not particularly well in motion, and deformed heads, so like small narrow heads.
Really?
Yeah.
And Cheryl, is that to do with the heat, or is that a common?
Well, these studies have shown that it can affect sperm, what we call sperm morphology, the shape of the sperm.
Right.
It can affect the shape, it can affect the motility, and it can affect the count as well. But obviously, we'd have to do a study, a proper controlled study on chefs, and actually measure scrotal temperatures and these sorts of things to see whether, in fact, you are going to see an effect.
So there could be a possibility. I mean, on the back of the history with the firemen, the bakers. I mean, chefs may suffer from that problem down the line. And personally, now I'm going to do a ring around and maybe come back to this topic. Now it's dessert time, and this week we're going to turn up the heat on our commies with Danny and Phil cooking the dessert of their choice. Phil.
How are we, Gordon?
So what are we doing?
We're doing a chocolate fondant, mate.
Yep. Between now and midnight, I want you to forget the word mate and just remember the word Gordon, because I'm not your mate. Where did the idea come from?
Raymond Blanc.
Who?
Raymond Blanc.
I can't hear you.
I'm sure you can go.
Has anyone heard of Raymond Blanc before?
It's based on that, but I use...
It's based on Raymond Blanc. How dare you come to the F word with all those French fighting right now, and you want to bring in a chocolate fondant? Huh? Dear, oh dear. So you've got the egg yolks, lightly whisked, and what's in the egg white? You take to like a stiff peak, or...?
Yeah, up to a soft peak.
Can you sit it on top of your head?
I could. Yeah, we're all right with that one.
That's a brave move. That's all right. Yeah, well done. And if they don't come out and they stick to the mould, you can blame the French. Is that right?
That's right, Gordon.
Fantastic. That's a brave move there, you know that. So, Phil's choice is the chocolate fondant, which is a very, very brave choice because they're so difficult to get right. And you never know when they're perfect, and just until you're about to serve them. So when we cook them in the restaurant, we always cook two, just in case one's about to collapse or somewhat dry in the middle. Can never happen in a restaurant. Now, Danny's playing it really safe. He's just making a very straightforward, plain Jane pancake. But I have to say, I admire his balls to keep it so simple. What's inside the pancake?
Inside the pancake is going to be vanilla poached pear. On top of the pancake is going to be just like a dark chocolate sauce.
So what you put in there?
What have I put in there?
Yeah.
Sugar, 1 cup, 2 vanilla pods, fresh.
Yeah. Can I suggest you turn it down a little bit?
Turn
when
it
the
down.
poached pear is poached, not rapidly boiling, yeah? Still can't believe you come in here with a Frenchman's recipe. Dear, oh dear. Let's hope that works.
Especially for you, Gordon.
Especially for me.
Especially
you know I love
you.
the French. Hello. Good to see you. Well, you're looking absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
You've been getting bigger.
I know.
Whilst you go through all the motions, has he been cooking for you? Surely Rod can cook. I mean, he's a man of the world.
He can. He does do a good egg.
And do you have a sweet tooth? I mean, do you like sort of chocolate fondant?
That is my biggest downfall, is chocolate.
Does he ever take pudding to bed?
Not putting to bed, no. I think he doesn't like, crumbs and things. It's been messy. But just the last few weeks, I've been having warm milk.
He said a couple of weeks ago to me personally, he's actually going to be in the birthing pool.
We won't be bathing. Hopefully he'll bathe before he gets in the birthing pool.
Flippin' heck. What's that going to be like?
It's like a large jacuzzi.
Nice.
And it's quite hot, yeah. And I believe that the water will be sort of up to about here.
You're both going to be naked, right? He's going to be...
Well, no, I think he's going to wear pair trunks.
Speedos.
Yeah.
Good. Now, it's been a bit of a manic week, this end, because there's been a debate about sperm. How's Rod's sperm?
Well, as you can see, he's still got plenty of bullets in his rifle, as he puts it.
All those years of tight trousers and bloody leather trousers with no pants, so how does it become so immaculate?
When we visited the doctor last September, when we were planning to have children, he did say because of both of our ages that it could take some time. And we were like, OK, well, are there any particular things we can do to help?
Hang loose pants.
So he was very good. He had showers only, no bath, no bubble bath. And the loose pants. We had to go out and search for these, the boxers and things.
Really?
No, we did actually freeze his sperm in case there were going to be problems.
Oh, OK.
Yeah?
Later on, yeah, of course.
We were at home. We didn't do it in a hospital.
ice cube,
it was
no.
at home. And then I rushed down in the Ferrari with my handbag with the little vial next to it. You know, like, I felt like I was.
Frozen sperm. Have you any idea how expensive that ice cube could be?
I know.
Good to see you, babe.
Lovely. Thank
Likewise.
you for inviting me.
Take care, Dan. Good to see you. Thank you.
It's the moment of truth for the two commies and their puddings.
They're both very different desserts, and they're going to be judged by, the Women's Institute of Fulham. Jean-Baptiste, go with the pancake, please. I'll take the chocolate fondant. Let's go. OK, ladies. That is chocolate fondant.
Oh, that looks good. Very soft and just sort of falls away, which is good, but it's not dry and crumbly. So I think that gives them a thumbs up.
I like the fact it's not that sweet. It's very, very nice. It's actually not very heavy. It's
not,
nice and light.
I'm fascinated on the whole sort of Women's Institute becoming a younger, vibrant, sexier sort of group. What the going on?
Well, I think there's a resurgence. Just like knitting's becoming cool, the WI's coming cool because we're much more younger, and I think we're coming back to what, being practical is sexy again.
But you don't look like a lady from the WI, for goodness sake.
Well, that's good that we're flying the flag, but it's all changing. It's all changing.
Dear. Second dessert, a very simple poached pear in a warm pancake.
The presentation looks really good. The pears, they're not crunchy at all, so that's and yet they're not sloppy. So they're just the right texture.
And the chocolate's nice with it as well.
Keep going, oh, this is really nice, and the pancake is really lovely.
So, like a vote, chocolate fondant or crepe?
I think the crepe, which surprises me because normally I'm a chocolate freak and I would absolutely love it, but actually the pears were superb and I really enjoyed the crepe.
Crepe. It would be
Crepe.
Definitely the crepe.
Definitely the crepe.
Definitely the crepe.
The crepe, and I don't even like pears.
It's going to be 5 out of 5.
Crepe. 0, dear.
Definitely, it's the crepe.
Nigella or Delia?
Nigella.
Oh,
Gotta be.
yes! Meat or fish?
Meat. I'll get fish.
And finally, just before I go, me or Jamie?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah! Ladies, thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Whew. Well, that was a lovely bunch of WI members from Fulham. Amazing ladies. Very constructive, very critical. The winning dessert, the dessert that the diners are going to be eating tonight is the pancake.
Yeah.
Well done. Now,
thank you.
You haven't won the overall thing, however, you're definitely going to be serving your dessert tonight. And knowing you, you're going to take it on the chin like a man and really help this man with the dessert.
Oh, definitely.
It's better than cheap meat. I found free meat. It's all around us. I've been eating squirrels.
Squirrel, for goodness sake, they're not edible. How's your sperm count?
My sperm count's okay as far as I know, and I actually had a bit of trouble down there.
Oh, really?